It should go. It should be going. It should be going. What's up, everybody? We are here. We are live in the flesh. Let me just go ahead and hit this right here. Hit that right there. Wait for this to reload up. Just reload it up. Let me just switch this picture real quick. We got a lot to get into, bro. To be honest with you, bro. We have so much to get into, bro. So much to get into. Just let everybody trickle up on in here. To everybody, what's up? What's up? What's up, Team Human? How are you guys doing today? Let you guys just trickle on up in Chia. Where's the chats at? Let me see here. Let me just see here. Let me come over here. Hit that chat button. Let me just come up on over here and just reload the chat up. Should reload up. The chat should reload up. Let me hit this chat again. Okay, chat's right there. Okay. Let me just try and reload the chat right here. Reloading widget. It should be working. Let me know if you're here. What's up, Grand Honey Badger? What's up? You're here. Honey Badger, what's up? We've got Melissa in the house. Box Up's in the house already. We've got Monica from Canada already up in the house. What's up, dude? We're here. You guys ready for part 2? Humonculi part 2 or what, bro? You guys ready? You guys ready for this? Let me see here. What is all this stuff right here, dude? Let me see if I can just reload this stuff. Reload it. It should just work like it's supposed to, but for some reason, the chat up over here on Facebook is not working, so we're just gonna add. Whoa, they changed everything up. Let me come over here, widgets up over to here. Let me get the chat right here. Okay, there's chat. You see chat? We see chat. We can see the chat. We can see the chat. Scotty Wheel is up in the house. Queen Trip is up in the house. Let's go, Queen Trip. What's up? What's up? What's up? We've got, Vox is already in here. Hell yeah, Melissa's in here. If y'all could just do me a quick favor real quick, can you guys just head over to the YouTube, bro? Just head over to the YouTube, Tripoverdrip on YouTube, bro. Just head over there, hit the like button. What's goody in the Humonculuty? What's goody in the Humonculusy? What's goody in the Humonculusy? You guys got to stop coming down here, bro. Okay. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Now this should show that I'm live and it should show my live stream right there. Okay. It is. It is. Let me just grab this right here and just pull you down just a little bit more. What's up, honeybees? Honeybees is up in the house. What's up? Everybody, can we just spam the chat with something you're grateful for? Let's just start the stream off right, bro. Something you are grateful for. I'll go first while you guys are doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Something I'm grateful for, bro, is that I have the ability to think with an open mind. Because, oh my gosh, bro. Isn't that like really how the entire Matrix is kind of architected together right now? Is that they're really just trying to close our minds, keep our minds confined to like a box or some sort of like cage that we're in. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not sure, man. I just feel like I'm grateful for the ability that I am able to to think clearly and freely for myself, bro. We got 4 hours today to go. We're rolling for 4 hours today. Who is here for it? Just let me know what's up. You know what I'm saying? I've been fucking going today, bro. I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree so much. Oh, you're right. Being alive is like the super unknown, for real. I'm also grateful for the opportunity to live in the just like pure essence of consciousness. I'm grateful for you, honeybees. Thank you for showing up, for real. It means the world to me. Everybody, I just want all of you to know that genuinely I'm just really grateful for you guys. I mean, you guys are the ones that keep the lights on. You guys are the ones that click on the videos, come hang out on the live streams. Scruffmeister's in the house. What's up, Scruff? What's up, Scruff? What's up? You know how we do it here today, how we do it over here on the Tripoverdrip streams. Every day I come up in here and we talk about we're doing it again today. Yep, right back into Humonculus part 2. I will let you know, bro. I'm just going to give you guys a little heads up. I was talking to Mind Unveiled yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And he says this next Bible Unveiled is going to be insane, bro. It's going to be insane. It's going to be about, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. You're going to have to just come and join the stream as soon as we live stream it. It's all right, Vox. What's up, Lisa? Lisa's in the house. You guys made it here. Hell yeah. What's good? What do you guys think's going on planet Earth today, bro? I don't really know, and I don't really care. Is Andrew Tate a rapist? I don't know. He came out with a podcast that kind of explains some stuff and makes me just think a little bit more subjectively about it. But I don't really care what's happening in the planet, because we'll be able to understand what's happening on the planet if we understand this Humonculus thing. It will connect a lot of dots for you. I truly believe that deep down into my soul, that this Humonculus stuff is some crazy fucking secret society type lore, bro. Like shit that they don't want us to know, that they're artificially generating humans. And they have been artificially generating humans for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And there's lots of breadcrumbs leading down that rabbit hole straight to where it gets all to be. What's up, Scruffy? What's up, Porter? Porter's in the house. How are you and Brianna? What's up? We got, Porter was he's like the first Tripoverdrip Team Human member. Him and Brianna Cork, they met through Team Human, and then they became a couple. You know what I'm saying? If I'm being 100% honest with you, it's just so awesome, actually, that I was able to even be a part of all of that. And so I just want to tell you, Porter, I love you, bro. I love you and Brianna. I'm so happy for you guys, bro. So happy for you guys. Can everybody just spam the chat with Team Humans while we're here, bro? Team Human in the chat. Team Human in the chat. Let me just drop one last little link. One last little link to the YouTube. One last little link to the YouTube. And then we're going to get ready to get up in here. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get ready to get right up into this shit today, bro. We're getting right up in here, bro. It's insane. It's just insane. My mind is fucking just racing all over the place. Because this shit gets crazy, bro. The book, the Libra Vaccae. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. Apple Juice is in the house. What's up, Cheryl? She's here. What's good? What's good? We've got Honeybees and Cobra Kai over on YouTube. What's up, dude? Kyle Finnegan, Apple Juice, Monica, C. Porter. We've got them all, bro. We got the crew. The boys are back in town. Because the boys are back in town. Oh my goodness. No way, Cheryl. You are 1 year sober today, bro. I have to give Cheryl a shout out for 1 year sober, dude. Let's get them balloons, homie. Let's get the confetti going, bro. What's up? 1 year sober, dude. Let's go. Hell yeah. Chinedu Yolakaji. I think that's how you say your name. I'm not sure. But I appreciate you being here. What's up? Can we just get Team Humans everywhere so I can get a head count? Because we got 5 people on Facebook. We've got, I'm not sure how many on Twitch or Kick, because they don't, I just see the chats. It doesn't tell me how many people are up in here. She can see this. She will be able to see it, Apple Juice, on Facebook, right here where it says Apple Juice. Congrats if you see this. Everybody loves you, Cheryl. We're so happy and proud of you, bro. For your 1 year sober, it's so great, so grand. I'm just so proud of you. I knew you could do hard things. I just knew it this whole time. You could do those hard things, bro. You could do those hard things, bro. Okay. Are you guys ready to get into today? Let's see here. What's up? What's up? Who's here? Okay, let me just go ahead real fast. I did try. So I'm going to do this one last time, okay? I'm dropping the link inside of all the chats specifically because I'm just trying to get the link up on over. I always have to post it in Twitch. That's like the easiest place for me to send it. The link is right here. If you guys could possibly just hit that link, head over to the YouTube, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Please just hit the like on the YouTube video. You know what I'm saying? What I'm going to do actually is when you get over to YouTube is where I'm going to drop the Kick link. Let me see. My son just texted me. One second. I have to go upstairs real quick. We're just going to keep going with this right here real fast. My kids are fighting upstairs. I'll be right back. Pin that to the top, yep.
Corresponding color in the light spectrum. This is one of the reasons why electronic music is so immersive, because they are tied together. Every time that first segment, the slow arm, goes around in a circle, the second faster arm goes around pi times, or 3.14 times. You know what's really weird about this? It will never draw the same path ever. That is an irrational number. They never rationalize into a number. It's infinite. That pattern it makes is even more important. It may be mesmerizing because it's the pattern that we see everywhere in nature. It's the pattern of magnetism. It's the pattern of the golden ratio. Nature employs this. You may be wondering how those two are linked. Well, it's circles. Everything is simply circles. Any size circle's circumference divided by the diameter will get pi every time. Watch this. One more circle from the middle to the edge. The last circle just on the edge of the original circle. If our original circle is a crystal sphere and we shine a light through it, the rainbow it produces from red to red is 5, the golden ratio. This is some matrix source code magic right here. That's the eye from all the symbols. Cat's out of the bag. It's that eye right there. Here's why. Within that eye, you get the binary sequence. That is how cells divide. The middle measurement is the division of the cube. It literally defines 3D space. It's the key to 3D. The corner to corner measurement, the golden ratio. All of the things are just circles, a projection of circles. If you place a bunch of circles, the golden ratio apart from each other and get them to spin, you're gonna recognize a lot of pattern. It's called the harmony of the spheres. And Johannes Kepler used it a while ago to pretty accurately predict the orbits of the planets in the solar system. There are actually no real straight lines other than the center point from one circle to the center point of another circle. That's where you get the approximations of straight line. But in certain frames, they appear to be straight lines. So what's up with the golden ratio? Well, if you confine the golden ratio to a cube, then it creates a sphere. If we make a radiograph, kind of like a world map out of that sphere, it hits the radiograph in 3 important points, making a triangle. And if you have geometrics, you know that triangles are pretty much how we tell time. In math, the golden ratio creates a Fibonacci sequence, and geometrically it looks like that. Sister pattern is the binary template, which creates the 3D, the things you see. Binary is how cells divide. It's literally required for life. So that math we process through geometry over time creates the experience that you want. But who's the watcher?
Okay, sorry guys. My kids were upstairs tripping out on each other over Minecraft. They were fighting over Minecraft. They were just fighting over Minecraft. Mouse, what's up? What's up, Mouse? Hell yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. What's good? We've got Monica, Apple Juice, Vox, Melissa, Scotty Wheels, Scruffmeister's in the house. Fuck yeah, we're ready to roll. Because we got a ton of shit to get into today, bro. If I'm being honest, 100% honest with you, we got a ton of shit to get into. So I'm just going to come over here, take this little Kick link, come back over here. If you head over to the YouTube and you want to come back, also come over to Kick. You're going to have to come to the YouTube first to get to Kick, because I'm only dropping the Kick link in YouTube. I'm going to pin the top of the Kick link, pin the link to Kick on the top of the chat on YouTube. If you want to head over to Kick, To kick. Yeah, boy, what's up? What's up, Scruff, or G-Mac? We can call her G-Mac. Because, oh boy, bro, we got a fucking doozy to get into today, bro. We got a doozy. All right. You guys ready for this? Let's just get right into today's mindful message. Oh my gosh, my little thing popped up. There we go. Cheers. I got to take a little blink first. You guys can be anywhere. If you guys, preferably the two platforms is either YouTube or Kick. Those are the two platforms I would prefer you to be on. You can stay on Facebook if you choose. But what if the way you feel right now is a sane reaction to an insane moment in history? If that already makes something inside of you take a deep breath and exhale, you can just comment, I feel this too. So you can mark the moment that you stopped blaming yourself for how heavy it's been. Because look at the world that we're waking up in. War headlines, blockades, tariffs, crisis stacked on crisis. Every single morning, there's another story about something shaking the global scale. Strikes, attacks, political turmoil, economic pressure. And if you feel like you're on edge, overwhelmed, or strangely numb, it might not be just personal failure. It actually might just be like an honest nervous system reacting to the reality that you've been walking through. We've been quietly trained to act like this level of chaos is normal. Scroll the news, scroll social, scroll past your own reaction and get back to work. But your spirit isn't a machine, bro. It registers what's happening. It notices the tension in the air, the uncertainty in the headlines, the way that every update seems to say, you're not as safe as you thought you were. Always entering this feeling of being thrown off, which isn't weakness though. It's awareness. You're not broken because you feel like you've been impacted. You're doing what they want you to do, is to pay attention. And paying attention will always feel heavier than pretending that everything is fine. Because when you're awake, you don't just see the events, bro. You see the meaning. You notice the constant fear, how the stories shape your thoughts. You notice how breaking news becomes breaking nervous systems. You notice how easy it is to start living like everything is an emergency, even when you're just trying to eat breakfast and get through the day. And here's the thing that most people won't even say out loud. Your reaction to all of it might be the most sane thing in the entire world when the world is asking you to just stay productive. The anxiety, the fatigue, the irritability, the sense that something is off. These can be signs that your inner world is not willing to fully cooperate with an outer world that feels unstable, full of static, and really loud. Instead of asking, bro, like, what's wrong with me? You can simply just try asking, what's happening to me? Because the answer to that question includes more than just your personal story. It includes the moment that you're living in. And bro, I know this moment in history is so fucking intense, dude. But at the same time, something else is happening. People all over the world are craving depth. Long form conversations are becoming more applicable in everyday life. Creators are starting to not just chase the trends, but they're starting to talk from their hearts. And that builds real connection. People are starting to lean in and say one simple thing. Behind all the noise, I can feel the collective hunger for honesty. And if you've been feeling heavier than usual, you can always just comment, I'm still here. So you can name the fact that you haven't checked out yet, even if you've been tempted to. Because being still here in moments like this is not small, bro. It means that you haven't fully gone numb, that you still care, that you still feel, that you still notice the difference between what's true and what story they're trying to spin. You are still capable of compassion in a time when it would be just so much easier to look away. It means that your heaviness might be less about being weak and more about being human in a season that doesn't let humanity even rest very easily. It means that your emotional weight might be the cost of staying awake in a culture that constantly invites people to sleepwalk through the conflict, the injustice, and the uncertainty. So instead of treating how you feel as like a glitch, you can treat it like data. You can ask yourself, like, what stories am I feeding my mind with all day? Humonculus. How much of my anxiety is mine and how much of it is contributed to the atmosphere that I put myself in? Where am I absorbing the world without giving myself space to process it? Once you start to ask those questions, your heaviness turns into information. You can see the patterns. You can notice how every notification pulls something in your nervous system. You can notice how staying informed sometimes becomes staying inflamed. And inflammation is the root cause to all disease. You can start choosing which voices get to enter your interworld instead of letting the loudest one own your attention. And that's where a different kind of strength starts to show up. Not the strength in ignoring everything, but there is true strength in staying aware without being consumed by it. You don't have to deny reality to project your spirit, or to you don't have to deny reality to protect your spirit. You also don't have to swallow every single headline raw and just take it for what it is. You can let yourself feel the weight of what's happening and still choose how much of it gets to define your day. You can still be informed and also still be anchored. You can be honest about the heaviest shit in the world and still decide that you're not going to live inside of fear. So here's what I want to take with you, even if you close out of this live stream right when I'm done. Like I said, the way you feel right now, it might be the sane reaction to an insane moment in history. It might be your system telling the truth about the pressure that it's under. It might be your spirit refusing to normalize a world that is clearly not okay. That doesn't make you fragile in any way, bro. It makes you responsive. And that's what it means to be alive. And if you're alive and responsive, you can do something with what you feel. You can slow down instead of speeding up. You can create pockets of stillness in a noisy day. And you can put limits on what gets your attention. You get to decide that your inner world will not be run by whatever is trending online. So don't rush to ask, like, how do I stop this feeling? You got to ask yourself, like, what is this feeling asking me to change? Where do I need more truth and less noise? How can I honor the fact that this is a hard moment without letting it steal my ability to love, to hope, and to act with kindness? Because that's what I want to be when I grow up, is I just still want to be kind. Because the vibe today is heavy, but it's going to be honest, bro. And if you let that honesty work on you, it doesn't just break you down. It can actually build you into something or someone who is awake, grounded, and clear-eyed in a time where everyone is being told either to panic or just stay asleep. And with that, we're not staying asleep today. We're getting right into this humonculus. What's up, guys? How was that? You know what I'm saying? We're all wide awake, bro. The feelings that you feel doesn't mean you're not doing it right. The feelings that you feel literally is an indication, bro, that you're alive, bro. You're alive. We're human. We're here. Okay.
We'll touch on that.
Where were we? Where were we, dude? Where were we at? I'm just trying to find out where we were at on this little thing. We hadn't gotten here yet. What's up? Oh yeah, we were just getting right up in here. You see all this imagery? We were getting right to the heart, bro. The Rosicrucians. Oh yeah, you guys see that Jesus? Look at that Jesus picture. What the fuck? I lost where we were at.
Intelligence. But the author of the book that he got his knowledge from, failed due to the virtue of his knowledge in talismanic and magical works, because in practice, the method of generation is the same method of making talismans and magic. Whoever is able to make talismans, all the
Vox, bro, thank you so much for the gifted subs on Kick, bro. They mean a lot, dude. Thank you so much.
works of creation and generation are easy to him. So look at this. These ancient alchemists, who supposedly are the first sources, all write about earlier sources as
we weren't this far.
This actually was.
Oh, we are right, almost right here with the mermaids, bro. We were almost right here with the mermaids. You remember the mermaids? This image right here was the only depiction of Begonia in 1517, bro. And in the same image, while they're depicting literally the process of Begonia and spontaneously generating bees using bull carcasses, they also have mermaids in this image, which is kind of insane to think about, right?
Moshia continues and
let's just get right into this and let him just go.
Says, humans or human-like creatures can be artificially generated too. We're told about this magus, Ankabutha, who described in his book on the subject how he generated a creature which was like a human but lacked speech or understanding. Ankabutha received this information from a certain book on the mysteries of the sun by Asclepius, messenger of the sun, Rasul al-Shams, related how he created the cosmic man, Al-Insan al-Khani. Ankabutha asserts that the artificial generation of humans in the microcosm is a sublunary reproduction of divine creation. Even Washia admits that for his own part, he failed to achieve an operation like this, whereas Ankabutha did not fail due to the virtue of his knowledge in talismanic and magical works, because in practice, the method of generation is the same method of making talismans and magic. Whoever is able to make talismans, all the works of creation and generation are easy to him. So look at this.
Fuck yeah, bro. I definitely think mermaids are real, bro. Can we get aliens in the chat if you think that mermaids are real?
Who supposedly are the first sources, all write about earlier sources as...
Oh, we're 240-24? Okay.
embodying and disembodying.
Oh yeah, Zisosimos. Fucking crazy.
Understood well. End quote. That seems way more than just a dream. And where did they get the imagination for this type of stuff? Zosimos provided one of the first definitions of alchemy as a...
Oh yeah, Zosimos. Zosimos provided the first definitions of alchemy as the study of composition of waters, movement, growth, embodying and disembodying, drawing the spirits from bodies and bonding the spirits within bodies. That's a mouthful.
Study of the composition of waters.
Alfonso, you're back, bro. Bro, Alfonso's back for part 2, bro. Thank you for coming back, bro. If you're here, say what's up. Can you just drop your location, actually? Where are you at on the planet, bro? Because, to be honest, I have this little weird thing about myself, bro, that I just like to. This is what I do, bro. I say, hey, where are you at on the planet? And then in my mind, I like visualize this globe, and everywhere people say that they're from, I put little lighthouses on the globe. And then I also visualize just little ripples of light spreading all over the freaking planet, bro. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know.
Movement, growth,
Tennessee, let's go.
embodying and disembodying, drawing the spirits from bodies and bonding the spirits within bodies. End quote. Why is the eye such a prominent...
Oh, yeah. We were right here, boy. Why is the all-seeing eye, why is it in all of the occult stuff, bro? We're going to just back up a little bit and let him run this whole eyeball thing. Oklahoma, what's up? Route 66 is in the house. Let's go. I know, Julia. We got Mexico up in here. New York City. Let's go. Ecuador, bro. In South America? Dude, we got freaking Central America with freaking Julia. We got South America with Alfonso, bro. We've got a bunch of people up in here from America. Insane, bro. Prestige worldwide, wide. The first word in entertainment. Roseburg, Oregon. I see you, bro. I see you, Roseburg, Oregon. Let's go. We're all up in here. Let's get right back into this. We got 4 hours to go. This is a 10-hour documentary, bro. We're only 2 hours and 24 minutes in. We really got to knock this out. And we're going to hit this 4-hour stream. And you guys might see me streaming tonight because Mind Unveiled, the person who dropped this video, yeah, we've been chatting up in Discord, and I'm pretty sure he's going to give me a heads up before he drops the Bible Unveiled Part 2, where basically in the Bible Unveiled Part 1, we came to the realization that the Garden of Eden is not what we were told. Oh my goodness. It's not what we were told at all, bro. It's not what we were told at all. Can we just get red hearts in the chat if you watched Bible Unveiled with me? Oh boy, it gets crazy.
spirits within bodies. End quote. Why is the eye such a prominent symbol in occult secret societies? Let us explore further, as the symbol should be quite clear to see now. Let's dive down the rabbit hole with an alchemical text, and let's just break it down. The work Kabbalah by Spiegel der Kunst und Natur in Alchemia, 1615, which translates to Kabbalah,
Central New York, let's go!
mirror or art and nature in alchemy. And in this fascinating alchemical text, authored by Stefan Mikosbacher,
Cobra Kai!
a German alchemist, it features 4 captivating engravings by artist Raphael Custos. These are very unveiling because the idea behind these works is that it would merge Hermetic symbolism, single point perspective, and the concept of mirrors, or a double self, to...
I just gotta snap a picture of this real quick, sorry. Gotta screenshot this image, bro. This is an iconic little image right here.
guide the reader through an alchemical journey of understanding. They literally put the meanings into these images to be decoded. It's obvious once you see it. The book attempts to use the concept of mirrors to understand the self, the mysteries of alchemy and divinity. The emphasis on mirrors is also connected to a trend during the 16th and 17th centuries, where several publications used terms such as the
Oh, wait a second. You guys, I forgot to even tell you guys. Dude, Mind Unveiled watched my live stream yesterday. He was up in the stream watching it. He actually said that he thought it was super cool that he'd never seen anybody watch and like analyze his content like this. How cool is that, bro? That this content creator that I just started watching on my streams, bro. We've connected on Discord, bro. He said he's been up in the stream. He was there yesterday when I was messaging him like, bro, I'm diving into Humonculus today. If you want to come check it out. And he was up in the stream, bro. I just feel blessed, bro. I just feel blessed.
or Spiegel, What's interesting is that this single point perspective was literally a device in which they would communicate this secret meaning. Think about it. Perspective was just being developed during this time, so images with this technique, which revolutionized art and visual representation, were believed to have a deeper, mystical significance during this time. It brings you into the image, you go into another world, you go through the mirror. And they understood this type of symbolism extensively, but the stranger part of all of this is their connection to royals and, well, human farming. People began to think that images drawn using the single point perspective system could create magical mirrors capable of revealing hidden knowledge and truths. They literally believed this to be a portal for demons and higher metaphysical beings, including John Dee, who was known to use magic mirrors, but also believed the single point perspective system could be a magic mirror on its own. This idea was rooted in the belief that such images could serve as a bridge between the material world and the spiritual realm, providing glimpses into the mysteries of the universe and the divine. We must consider that from this point on in our journey, we must look at this information.
Wait a second. Do you guys know what this is right here? This little green stick thing. This is gonna get crazy right here, bro. I'll ask you again. You see this? See my mouse right here, right? You see this green stick thing right here? Do you know what that is? I'm pretty sure it's called a fascis. Pretty sure that's what it's called. Can you please pull up an image of a fasciche with like the bundle of sticks with the axe? Yeah, this is like the symbol of fascism, bro. This thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm stretching. Maybe that's a stretch, but to me, it looks like it possibly could be this bundle of sticks. And isn't this the symbol of fascism? It was like a fucking energy weapon, bro. The fascista, whatever it's called. Yeah, and it could have it had a projectile freaking axe blade. Yes, today that bundle of rods with the axe, the fascist, is widely recognized as the core symbol of fascism.
Let's consider that from this point on in our journey, we must look at this information from a more occult or esoteric point of view. The knowledge of the alchemist is secretly encoded within these images, and they're actually telling you within the text. They're attempting to speak to the inner levels of one's psyche. This knowledge is encoded within the image or speculum, the magic mirror. This is the only way we can read between the lines of many of these writers on these obscure topics. We begin the Hall of Mirrors with the cover of the book being a Tudor rose with a crown. There's also an emblem in the intro with a plant stem coming out of a cube. After the book goes in detail on the occult and alchemical philosophy, it even mentions the homunculus. Now we're not going to read the entire thing, but I couldn't find an English translation of this text. Therefore, we translated the original German text so that you could check it out yourself. This was published in 1663, after spontaneous generation had already begun to be debated. Yet this proves without a shadow of a doubt that they were being very secretive about this process. The book doesn't directly say the term homunculus, but let's really bring up some of the questionable quotes from this book before we get to the emblems. It's pretty clear what they're discussing now that we know some history. The author begins with the cryptic philosopher's stone. Stating what a wise old stone in that it is threefold. Let's remember that. He begins with his analogy of mirrors, after giving praise to the royalty of his time. He begins discussing the secret, or at least what they perceive to be the secret, of single-point perspective. He even makes reference to the reader being compared to the prisoners in Plato's cave allegory, basically saying that the readers aren't on his level or that they couldn't even begin to understanding the forms that he's discussing. So that's kind of the approach that these scientists were taking with this type of knowledge.
Okay, before we go though, okay? Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, that's exactly what it is. Not the Sorcerer's Stone, it's the Philosopher's Stone. But I need to ask all of you guys, do you guys understand Plato's cave allegory? Like, do you understand what he means when they say, when we're referencing Plato's cave? Can you just put aliens in the chat? Because I think it would be a good time to kind of get a little bit of just a little breakdown of what Plato's cave allegory is, because it does actually apply so insanely. Actually, it applies so insane to the things that are happening and what's going on. Let's just get a little brief rundown, okay? Yeah, can you please just explain to me Plato's cave allegory and what was the purpose and the symbolism behind the allegory?
Plato's cave allegory, from his work The Republic, describes prisoners chained in a cave who can only see shadows cast on a wall and believe those shadows to be reality. One prisoner is freed, discovers the outside. Plato's cave allegory describes prisoners chained in a cave, seeing only shadows on the wall, which they mistake for reality. The cave symbolizes our limited perceptions, the shadows represent illusions, and the journey out of the cave stands for the path to enlightenment and understanding the true forms of reality. The purpose of this allegory is to highlight the difference between belief based on sensory experience and true knowledge gained through philosophical reasoning. It encourages questioning our assumptions, seeking deeper truth, and recognizing the transformative power of education and philosophy.
It was basically saying that you have to go and find the truth and knowledge yourself, which would be exiting the cave, versus perceive reality to be what it seems to be based off of the shadows that are inside of the cave, correct?
That's right. The allegory urges us to seek truth beyond appearances, moving from the shadows of sensory experience to a deeper understanding through contemplation and learning.
So there you have it. It basically is just an allegory that basically encourages you to think for yourself, bro. Don't believe that reality is strictly based off of your perception of what the shadows say. You have to do your own research and exit the cave. You have to climb out and see for yourself. You can't just look at the shadows and believe reality is the way that it is. And that's really what I feel deep in my heart is the problem with society in the world today, is that we just have far too many people who have built their perception of reality based off of the shadows inside of the cave, instead of facing their fear and actually exiting the cave and looking for themselves. Because once you start to go down, once you exit the cave, we could just say exiting the cave in itself is a rabbit hole to find out that there is reality is different than what it's perceived to be. And once you get out of the cave, there's no really turning back. You're no longer going to see those illusions as reality anymore, because now you've exited the cave. You see life and light for what it is. And once you're able to do that, they're not able to control you anymore. They're only able to control the people who believe that the Matrix is real, bro. You don't get to, you know what I'm saying? They can't control you. Once you know that there's poison inside of your food, the food industrial complex just lost you as a data point, bro. Once you realize that there are things on planet Earth that can actually heal your body and things that you can do by yourself without any sort of pharmaceutical industrial complex, guess what? That illusion goes away. It stops controlling you. You stop falling for every little health tidbit or fear-based fear porn. You know what I'm saying? Like where they just try to make you scared, bro. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? But let's get right back into this.
But he continues. He says the purpose of giving this knowledge of the mirror, for those who can understand it, of course, is so that according to their desires and create much fruit and benefit. Okay, so this is about creating fruits? Interestingly, the author says he is unworthy of this knowledge, and the only way he can pass it on is through the secret art of mirrors. He says, quote, through the understanding of this mirror.
Melissa, Julia just said that she's reading your comments and says that you're her soul sister.
They can achieve great benefits in various aspects of life, such as maintaining good health, sustaining their bodies with abundant necessities, and nurturing their souls to find eternal life. As seekers of knowledge and practitioners of this art, it is essential to be open to understanding and learning. For only then can one grasp the true essence of this mysterious and transformative discipline. End quote. He begins discussing these mirrors in comparison to alchemy. The first mirror represents the initial stage, where the practitioner works with the basic elements of nature, mercury and salt, to extract the essential properties needed for the transformation. In this mirror, the author sees the wise and mercury in their salt, which are the initial substances to be worked with. This could be seen as the mixing and combination of the elements. The second mirror symbolizes the stage where the alchemist works with sulfur, another key element in the alchemical process. Here, the author sees the sulfur of the wise, similar to the flower called chelidinium, which represents the transformative power of sulfur in alchemy. The vegetable essence mentioned signifies growth and multiplication, which is the goal of the alchemist. The third mirror stands for the final stage of the process, where the alchemist combines the elements from the previous stages and refines them further. In this mirror, the author experiences a fiery red substance that seems to contain divine power and mystery. This likely refers to the Philosopher's Stone or the ultimate goal of the alchemical process. Now he explains how the pictures in the book, or mirrors, reveal the secret behind the process. He even says, to bring the three mirrors into one, you must go through these degrees, connecting it to masonry. He finishes off in his conclusion on this ancient stone and that this is the foundation of the highest medicine of chemistry. He even mentions aqua viscosa, which is a clear reference to semen. Quote, aqua viscosa is the first essence, as the wise teach you.
To Galilean's theatric. I'm not sure, Scotty. I don't know.
Born from and through the art of our nature, the highest tincture is created. End quote. Then just in case you had any question, towards the end of his conclusion, he mentions the living chalice and horse manure. So it seems that this is some type of secret manual. Now, let's try to decode the images. We begin with exaltation.
You know what this says to me right here? Actually, this image, bro. Okay, so I don't know what this vertives says right here on the bottom corner right here. But this seems to me to be like ingredients, almost like the alchemist, the philosopher's stone, astronomy. All of these things are like ingredients into this symbolized ritual or something that this is trying to say. I'm still just even learning, bro. But you can obviously see the zodiac signs and stuff, but that's just what it screams out to me. Is it screams out, for one, that this weird humonculus hybrid creature. It says Kabbalah at the bottom. It talks about astronomy, philosopher's stone, and alchemy. Seems crazy, bro. Virtues. Okay, I could see that. You're right. I could see that. Virtues. Hopefully Mind Unveiled shows up today again, bro. Ooh. All right, guys, here we are. You guys ready for this? Check this out. I can't say anything, okay? I can't really say anything. But I'll just say that I was on Discord talking to an individual. I was like, hey, I'm live again, hoping that this individual would jump in on the YouTube live stream and just say what's up in the chat. That was my goal. But the goal was not, I don't know if I succeeded in that aspect, but the goal is that potentially I'm only going to stream Humonculus for about another hour and 15 minutes. And then I'm going to wait until a video drops. And as soon as the video drops, I'm going to go live again. And we're going to go live for watch the whole video. Now, mind you, I can't say anything, but it has to do with the Bible. Who's here still? Who's here still? Shout out Mind Unveiled. Thank you for bringing us this Humonculus video. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, actually, to be 100% honest with you. Thank you for posting all of the videos that you've posted, because it's given me literally months and months of content to watch, as well as talk about on my stream as well. I genuinely appreciate Mind Unveiled for sure. But yeah, so it's just going to be a little while, you know what I mean? We're just going to go for about another hour and 10 minutes, and then I will be going live later this afternoon. And it will be he asked me not to say nothing. So I can't say nothing. But I'll be going live later. I'm just going to, you know what I'm saying? We watched this one the other one, part 1, about a week ago. Part 1 about Garden of Eden.
With the title Kabbalah. The first thing that draws our attention is the fire-breathing chimera with the old headwear that the popes used to wear, and it had 3 tiers. So this is a hybrid pope creature, and on its back is a flask that contains a raven, a peacock, and a phoenix rising towards the sun, creating the Philosopher's Stone. At the top of this flask, we see a star emitting divine energies into the glass bottle. This is to represent the importance of astrological influences, as we mentioned earlier. I do find it interesting that they have this threefold symbolism with the zodiac, and they happen to put Taurus, or the cow, under this chimera. Leo is the sulfur in this case, and Capricorn is the mercury, obviously leaving Taurus at the bottom as the transmutation or amalgamation. Therefore, this is undeniably a homunculus. The next page is called Mirror, Art and Nature, and we get some coat of arms symbolism. We see a phoenix, or more likely an eagle, with a book saying Prima Materia. This is the pillar of nature. To the right, we get a lion, the Lion of Venice. This is the pillar of art, and the book says Ultima Materia, or the final matter, the final product of the art of alchemy. This begins to show that yes, royalty and coat of arms is connected to everything we've been discussing. We see the hidden knight's helmet because he's being cloaked and hidden, crowned with a literal phoenix cap that resembles the ancient Hebrew and Mesopotamian Phrygian caps. We also see the 3 spears on his shield, and this is the 3 mirrors and stages of the alchemical process. These can also be seen on coat of arms. We continue to the middle section of this image, where we see to the left a man carving his way through a tunnel into the mountain and using a candle to help him lead the way. He also has his cap, and on the ground, you can see the square and compass. Below at the bottom, we kind of have the underground components to the image. This is the underground laboratory. This is where the process of distillation and purification occurs. Above, we see the methods and template in which this takes place. We see that they're continuing with the symbols of Mercury, Saturn, Mars, and Venus. They have laid this all out geometrically and assigned the different arts. Then to the left, we see the extraction process with 2 snakes and dealing with 2 processes of nature. It says hot, dry, cold, moist. To the far right of this middle section is the final output. It's showing you the successful process being exported ready for pickup.
I just have to ask, bro. since we started watching the Mind Unveiled stuff, and he's like went back to all of these historic art pieces that seem to have just an insane amount of occult symbolism, and just not occult, and like we've come to realize on this channel that occult actually just means unknown, but they have stigmatized the word occult to mean something evil so people don't learn the information, right? But isn't it quite insane how we've watched a lot of these images that he pulls up, and it's literally, it to everyone that is uninitiated or can't see the symbols, it just looks like an artwork, you know what I mean? But the symbol, once you see the symbols, it's kind of crazy to see like the three-tiered structure of how they're set up from the top to the bottom and how you're supposed to read them structurally as like instructions. You know what I'm saying? It's insane, bro.
Then, when we get to the next image, conjunction, we see arranged the zodiacal rulers or personifications of the planets. The goal at the very top is Mercury or Hermes. Even under, we see a phoenix representing the rebirth process, and that it's all under a mountain. So, is it hidden beneath the earth or from plain sight? We see two men aspiring for this goal. One is chasing a rabbit into a hole.
Weird. Isn't that just a weird thing? Just even having this symbol, bro. Dead ass is like follow the rabbit hole. It's kind of crazy.
One that most likely goes very deep. And then the other man approaches the subject blindly and with faith. There's an entire structure underneath this mountain, and this is the underground process and art in which this occurs. Inside, it seems to be a king with a scepter and a queen with a rose or a flower. Finally, the background is the zodiac followed by the 4 elements. Now we get to the end, multiplication.
I actually just want to point out right here. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 figures standing on top of this mountain. I just wanted to point out 7s.
The 4 elements. Now we get to the end, multiplication. This scene depicts the resurrected Christ offering the water of life to the king and the queen. But underneath them underground, it would seem that we see the planets personified again, but almost as if they were some secret cult group. They are waving their bellows from below as they raise their arms to the fiery swords that seem to be preventing them from proceeding. Meaning, these are the planets that have been extracted, or in other words, their influences, and that they've been personified and or captured into a form. The alchemical process is beginning.
I also just want to point out outside of the actual humans, right? There's only 7 of them. There's 5 humans on the bottom. There's 2 humans outside of the Jesus statue. Another 7.
We see Jesus sitting in a fountain at the very bottom, crowned. The text in Old German says, "the brown of the learned." Now I'm not going to break that down just yet, and we got a lot more to say on Jesus, but if you've been paying attention, you should know what's going on here.
Bro. This is where, when he starts getting into Jesus, bro, this is really the most, I don't even know how to say it. It's like the most theology shattering information, if I'm being dead ass with you, bro. Because Jesus, or the Christ child, was definitely a humonculus, bro.
Also, the pool is filled with his blood as he has a hole on his right side. The next tier, or level of the fountain, is Mars and Venus, or Mary, holding a heart in flames. The next level is Saturn holding a baby, and Jupiter with lightning bolts and a scepter. It actually seems to be Libertas. Finally, at the top, Hermes, or Mercury, representing the transmutation process with the staff, or caduceus, representing the balancing of both positive and negative forces. Behind the fountain is a garden, the fruits of this understanding and art. This is the multiplication, the production or artificial generation of matter. We also see another code, which is most likely Rosicrucian in nature. we see a dove, which is a well-known symbol of the Holy Spirit in Christianity. The Holy Spirit is often associated with divine inspiration, and so this is what guides the alchemist. But more so, it represents the process of transformation, that this is also a spiritual pursuit. We see another compass or threefold symbol with a dove following a path. Between the Tetragrammaton, Jerusalem, and the Fountain of Life, this serves as a messenger between the physical and the divine. That's it for this book, but in the following year of its initial publication, 1660.
Okay, first of all, what in the fuck? I'm going to ask you right now. You can just put poop emojis in the chat. Because this is the craziest Jesus imagery I've ever seen in my entire life, bro.
Fountain of Life. This serves as a messenger between the physical.
Like, what is this, bro? Like, who in the fuck painted Jesus like this, bro? Swear, bro.
And the divine. That's it for this book, but in the following year of its initial publication, 1616,
like, who drew Jesus like this, bro? It's weird, bro. It's all symmetrical as fuck, too. Like, if you look at every single face, they all look the same, bro. It's weird as fuck.
There appeared a new edition in Latin that contained a dedication to the Rosicrucians, which then unveiled the inspiration behind the work. The original German text does not have this dedication.
What's up, Cheryl?
But this alchemical text that we've been breaking down, Kabbalah, is clearly Rosicrucian in nature.
Okay, I want to make this connection. I'm going to pull it up right now, okay? I posted a video about it today, actually. The Rosicrucians. They're really all up inside of here, right? Well, let's just go ahead and just EFTA 02352235. It's an Epstein file. It says, thanks, Jeff. You asked for fun projects. I think we're mostly starving for great conspiracies today. 10 to 12 persons, coordinated secrets. What about creating a new Rosicrucianism of sorts? What are your thoughts about constructing your own intelligence agency? Like a Jejun Institute, blurred reality / fiction, negging of your enemies would be pretty damn fun. What in the fuck, bro? How in the shit are we talking about Humonculus and the Rosicrucians? I had to make the connection that Jeffrey Epstein was in active conversations about creating and revamping like a secret society. It's his own intelligence agency, Rosicrucianisms. The people right here were breaking down right here in real time, tied to the motherfucking Humonculus of artificial created humans. And Jeffrey Epstein was obsessed with fucking epigenetics and had 20 women impregnated, and he wanted to repopulate the planet with his seed.
1614 is when the Rosicrucian Manifestos first appeared. The fame of the Brotherhood of the Rosy Cross was published, but it was circulated in manuscripts among German occultists in 1610. The goal was the creation and founding of a secret brotherhood of similarly prepared men. That is...
You're right, Jen. To be honest, it could have been the Trinity, like a three-way Jesus. I'm not sure. That seems weird to me. You know what I'm saying? It seemed weird to me. I never seen trippy Jesus art like that until I watched Mind Unveiled. Shout out Mind Unveiled. If you guys don't know who Mind Unveiled is, then you haven't been watching my stream for very long, because I've watched like all of his videos on my stream, because this is in the most, he provides some of the most insane fucking world-shattering information regarding information that we have been fed about our history that is complete bullshit. Like, who, for example, the 1611 King James version of the Bible, the cover page that literally when you open the book and it has the cover and it says the title, like the Holy Bible, it's literally all Freemasonry symbolism on the motherfucking Bible, bro. Did you know that? The first King James version of the Bible. Now, after I posted that video, there was actually quite a bit of people that provided me information that there was a bunch of Bibles written prior to that. This was like the first established mass distributed Bible is what I'm talking about. Is like the very first Christian Orthodox Bible, basically. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm not a fucking master. I'm not a historian. I don't have any degrees. I'm just a human on planet Earth trying to figure out what life is, bro. I'm a hippie in Utah that has 4 kids and a wife, and I'm just trying to figure out what in the shit is this place I live in. We know that they lie. We know that it's all to fit a narrative, and it all really just comes down to greed. Everything that they're doing all is for money and power and control. Do you think it's weird that they have had this secret information regarding all of the religions across the whole entire planet, and yet all of those religions are what? It's all about control and money?
Is why they were publishing these works to find people who could see through these hidden meanings and recruit more members. The manifestos made a promise of a universal reformation of mankind through a science that built on esoteric truths of the ancient past, which...
Let's actually just read this. Wikipedia, thank you. In the early 17th century, the manifestos caused excitement through Europe by declaring the existence of a secret brotherhood of alchemists and sages who were preparing to transform the arts, the sciences, the religious, political, and intellectual landscapes all across Europe. Wars of politics and religions raved the continent. The works were reissued several times, followed by numerous pamphlets, favorable or otherwise. Between 1614 and 1620, wait a second, there's like Rosicrucian flowers on the cover of the King James version of the Bible on the cover page in 1611. So, but between 1614 and 1620, they were actively trying to recruit more people to become Rosicrucians. About 400 manuscripts and books were published which discussed the Rosicrucian documents. The peak of the Rosicrucianism furor, how do you say that word? Furor was reached when 2 mysterious posters appeared on the walls of Paris in 1622 within a few days of each other. The first said, "We, the deputies of the higher college of the Rosecrux, do make our stay visible and invisibly in this city." And the second ended with the words, "The thoughts attached to the real desire of the seeker will lead us to him and him to us." Wow, that seems fucked up. That's kind of cryptic right there. Huh? The thoughts attached to the real desire of the seeker will lead us to him and him to us.
Concealed from the average man, provide insight into nature, the physical universe, and the spiritual realm, which they even said would be kept secret for decades until the intellectual climate might receive it. So the Rosicrucians were a branch of Christian mysticism mixed with Kabbalah, Hermeticism, and alchemy. And we now know that they were using...
Okay, real quick. I appreciate all of you guys, for real. Real quick, let me just do something for Jen Walker. I see you up over here on Facebook, bro. I'm going to drop the YouTube link in the chat, bro. You're going to have a better time watching my live stream on YouTube, if I'm being 100% honest. Because YouTube, for Facebook, you watch like this. YouTube, you can watch it like this. Let me just drop it in the chat for you, Jen Walker. There's the link. I just dropped it in the chat. Should have dropped. Let's see, did it drop? There it goes, posting it. Did it go? I don't know. There it is right there. Yep, there it is. All right, Scotty. We'll see you in a second. Go ahead and take care, Mama. But yeah, there's the link right there. Head over to YouTube. When you get to YouTube, if you come from Facebook, please put a green, yellow, and a red heart in the YouTube chat. And then if you do especially like to watch streams and you even have Kick downloaded, you know what I'm saying? There's a link in the YouTube chat that will take you to Kick. Kick is just a streaming platform that people majority of the time stream when you think of streaming people, or you think you're streaming like video games and stuff. But Kick and Twitch and all these other platforms are also streaming platforms. But if you want the Kick link, you're going to have to head over to YouTube. But let's get back into this. Oh, and by the way, Kick is like where all the comments you see scrolling up the screen, that's where majority of them are coming from Kick. Jen Walker, though, Cheryl Graham, Cobra Kai, you know what I mean? Scruffmeister, they're all up on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, say what's up. If you're on Kick, say what's up. If you're on Twitch, say what's up. If you're on Facebook, say what's up, dude. Oh, I'm excited. Today's going to be a good day, bro, because I can't wait. To be honest, we're only going to stream for like 1 more hour because I'm waiting for something to drop on YouTube. If you've been watching my stream, you already know what's up. You already know what I'm waiting for. You've heard me talk about it over the last few days. There's a video that's going to drop today that I'm going to watch right after it, right when it drops, we're going to be live streaming. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out Mind Unveiled, bro. Let's get back into his video.
Some crazy symbols like the creation of a chimera hybrid homunculus with a pope hat. We'll see more of these as we progress. But yes, this points and makes clear the type of thinking that these minds had. There's no reason to believe that it's just allegory just yet, as the
Crazy Truth, what's up?
details will continue to add up. Before we go into deeper matters, we need to discuss the importance of brotherhoods and symbols as it begins to all connect.
Shit. I gotta smoke to watch this stuff, bro. It just makes it so much easier for me to freaking digest, bro. And I'm just like, hey, what's that, dude? But anyways, the Scottish Rite. What is the Scottish Rite? Okay, Perplexity, I need help. I heard one of the craziest conspiracies of all time about the Scottish Rite Freemasonry Lodge. I heard that like pedophilia is like one of the required acts to be part of that specific lodge. Is that true, bro?
I can hear that you're concerned about what you've heard. It's important to approach these topics carefully. There's no credible evidence that the Scottish Rite or Freemasonry requires or condones anything like that. Freemasonry is a fraternal organization focused on charitable work and moral development. And if you're hearing
understand that, so let's then what are the conspiracies regarding that topic? I just want to hear what they are. I know that I'm not just pulling this information out of my ass. I've heard it repeatedly over and over again. So regardless of whether it's actually true that that is a required part of initiation into that specific lodge, though there are lots of conspiratorial narratives trying to portray that, correct?
From what I found, there are several conspiratorial narratives linked to the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Some suggest that the 33rd degree, the highest honorary level, is more than just a symbolic honor, and that there is a secret inner circle unknown to most Freemasons. Others claim that the Scottish Rite, especially those at the 33rd degree, are part of the secret network controlling governments, banks, and media worldwide. Some conspiracy theories also tie Freemasonry to the Illuminati, suggesting both work in tandem for world domination. There are also theories involving occult symbolism, secret rituals, and influence over political and historical figures. These ideas have been circulating for years, but they remain speculative and are not supported by evidence.
What about the conspiratorial aspect of the pedophilia specifically?
I found that there are some fringe conspiracy narratives that link Freemasonry, including the Scottish Rite, to alleged pedophilia rings. These include claims like the so-called Dunblane Massacre being part of a hidden Masonic cover-up, or allegations surrounding the Holly Grigg case in Scotland, where some proponents claimed a connection to Freemasons. These stories are part of broader and often unsubstantiated.
Yeah, of course, they're all alleged. We don't have any proof. We don't know if that's true.
The Rosicrucians are the predecessors to Freemasonry.
But I have 2 eyes to look and 1 eye to see. Let's just go right here and just do this real fast. Is that Donald Trump with the Scottish Rite in Aberdeen, Scotland? You tell me, is that Donald Trump? To me, it sure does look like him, actually. I don't know. I'm just a human trying to figure this out. Just trying to figure out planet Earth, bro. I just seen this stuff on the internet. I have no idea if it's true. It's all alleged. Everything that we talk about here is all alleged. But I just wanted to provide you guys with a different context of some information that is available out there for you to do your own research. But anyways, yeah, just wanted to put that out there.
Anyone who thinks it's mockery to even bring up the Masons simply Freemasonhoods and symbols as it begins to all connect, because the Rosicrucians are the predecessors to Freemasonry. Anyone who thinks it's mockery to even bring up the Masons simply isn't aware of the history of secret fraternities. Furthermore, they all share one same lineage, as we'll see. This idea of the Rosicrucian order inspired a lot of different famous occultists, some of which already mentioned, such as John Dee. A lot of different famous occultists.
This image, heaven and earth are full of Rosicrucians and sheep. That's what I take from this. Shit, boy. Another one of those caught me by the boo-boo. Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to be loud up in your ear. Just trying to be ripped while I'm up in here. Anyways, this does that not say that to you? Do you guys see the same thing, bro? It says it right there. Heaven and earth are full of Rosicrucian pelicans and sheep. Does that mean that that's a reference to the fact of the people who are running everything? They're saying heaven and earth is full of us and everybody else are just sheep. Interesting.
Some of which already mentioned, such as John Dee. Most scholars and historians are not willing to consider the possibility that there were invisible members who did not publicly announce their allegiance to the cause, but were simply inspired by it. And this gave rise to the Invisible College, which was the precursor to the Royal Society founded in 1660. In fact, even Robert Boyle wrote the cornerstones of...
I'm sorry, Cheryl. I don't know what's going on with you not being able to comment something.
The Invisible, or...
Can everybody just comment something to see if comments are working for everyone?
As they term themselves, Philosophical College, do now and then honor me with their company. So, whether the skeptics believe the subject of secret brotherhoods means nothing. We know that they were indeed having
something
secret meetings on the secrets of life. As Rosicrucianism developed into Freemasonry throughout Europe, there was a strong presence of the Golden and Rosy Cross. In the ancient accepted Scottish Rite, which was first practiced in France, the literal 18th degree is called the Knight of the Rose Cross. The two earliest Freemasons were Sir Robert Murray and even Ashmole, the author of the chemistry book that we went over earlier. Now, there's no denying the connection, or at least it's worth an investigation, yet these matters are kept secret and the scholars showed no interest to connect this secrecy to the subjects of hidden arts and sciences. Masons make it clear that their ancestry goes back to the Knights Templar, and this is also clear in Rosicrucian philosophy and symbolism. However, the Rosicrucians preserve this knowledge with a little bit more secrecy. This path can be followed as a trail as we start to begin to see the similar themes and symbolism. But even stranger, it would seem that the Templars were well aware of the secret arts of alchemy. We'll come back to the Rosicrucians, but first, let's discuss how the Templars tie in with all of this. I highly recommend watching the Christmas video. It's much more than a Christmas video and goes into some crazy stuff involving the Templars. But we shall continue and connect it to...
Now that I'm thinking about it, bro. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's one of them I haven't really watched, bro. I haven't watched the Christmas one. Yeah, Randall Carlson does claim that he's a Mason. There's actually ever since can I just pull you in here, guys? Let me just pull you in close real quick. Doesn't it seem suspicious that Freemasonry, the Illuminati, whatever these secret societies, 33, fucking all that stuff, has been hidden information for quite a while? And as soon as this information started to take hold on the frequency of the society, everybody started to see the symbolism and started to understand it. tons of people started researching into it. All of a sudden, these content creators are like, I'm a Freemason. It's not all bad. We're not controlling the whole world. No, there's not a group of us at the top that are pedophiles. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't it seems weird to me? Maybe this is just my personal opinion. It just seems weird. Like, Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk, allegedly. And it seems weird. As soon as that narrative came out, all of a sudden, all of these content creators popped out of nowhere saying, freaking Tyler Robinson's guilty. Some of those content creators actually became employees of TPUSA and started saying, Tyler Robinson's guilty. Tyler Robinson's guilty. It's the same thing for me. As soon as everybody started trying to gather like a base knowledge of information regarding Freemasonry, secret societies, the Rosicrucians, Scottish Rite, all that stuff. And it just seems weird that now more mainstream people, all of a sudden now there's like fucking tons of 33rd degree Masons on the internet talking about how they were Freemasons, and now they're just able to talk about the Freemasonic fucking secrets. It's a psyop, bro. It's a psyop.
This subject. The Knights Templar stand out as one of the most controversial orders. Their legacy, shrouded in mystery, has long been a debate among historians and scholars. We now have arrived to one of the crucial connections, but before we dive in, we must cover their history and also note the lack of conclusive evidence for both sides of the argument. There seems to be two main sides. One side believes that the Templars were accused unjustly, that they faced a fake persecution, on the grounds that they had reached such a state of wealth that King Philip IV and Pope Clement V sought to strengthen their positions by eliminating this supposedly powerful and independent organization. But we're going to take a look at that again because there is another side, and it involves looking at this order with new eyes, which many may have a difficult time doing because it's Christianity's most popular military order. Countless video games, movies have been made, and their influence on our culture is quite significant to many people. It seems that we may be dealing with dogma, but interestingly, we will see how this ties into alchemy and the creation of modern-day religions. We'll discuss more of that soon, but of course, if some of these accusations were proven to be even remotely true, then this would bring some serious suspicions to the church as a whole. Let's try to keep an open mind because I believe there are some serious arguments to consider here that deserve to bring suspicion to this powerful elite group of assassins, bankers, and literally pirates who are attempting to possess ancient antiquitech. The Knights Templar have the story that they were known as the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon.
Wait a second. The Temple of Solomon. King Solomon, like the Seal of Solomon, or what now has been taken over as the Star of David. The Temple Mount had a mystique because it was above what is to believe the ruins of the Temple of Solomon. Doesn't that connect right now with like the third temple? The third temple that they're trying to build again in Jerusalem. They want to destroy the Dome of the Rock, which is a very highly religious and spiritual place to the Islamic religion, which is on top of where the Jewish holy site is, which is where Jesus was at. So it's like a Christian holy site as well.
That after the first aftermath of the Crusades, the medieval Christian military order was formed so that the poor fellow soldiers, starting from just a small group of 9 knights, which was led by Hugues de Payens and Godfrey de Saint-Omer, they had set off with the mission and took monastic vows to protect Christian pilgrims who were supposedly being attacked by Muslims on the way to the Holy Land. One of the strange things about this whole story is the whole donations stuff. Because what ended up happening is that they were literally donated massive amounts of money and architecture, really for no apparent reason other than inspiring others because of their duties to protect. The Knights Templar derived their name from the location where they granted accommodations by King Baldwin II, within his castle and above the supposed remains of Solomon's temple. Not sure why he would do that, but okay. Then the members of the order took vows of personal poverty. Yet, the Templars as an organization accumulated substantial wealth and influence, which is contradictory. In 1129, Saint Bernard of Clairvaux not only contributed a generous sum of money to support the order, but also played a pivotal role in promoting their cause. Owing to their military prowess, the Templars were entrusted with the responsibility of safeguarding and transporting funds for individuals who were reluctant to travel with large sums of money, fearing theft or assault. Let's remember that's the mainstream story because similar to the Vanderbilts, we have another rags to riches story. The Templars ended up gaining billions of dollars of wealth. Literally, the Templars were the first massive bank. By the mid-12th century, the order had established a network of preceptories, regional headquarters, across Europe and the Holy Land. These preceptories generated revenue through donations, land acquisitions, and agricultural production. As their wealth increased, the Templars began to develop financial services that laid the foundation for modern banking. They offered loans, issued letters of credit.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Okay, so yeah, it does sound like the KM story. You're right, Melissa. What family or who was the first group of people to create a banking dynasty?
From what I found, the concept of banking goes back to ancient Mesopotamia, but the first well-known banking dynasty is often considered to be the Medici family of Florence, Italy. The Medici established a powerful banking empire during the 15th century, which helped finance the Renaissance and influence European politics. Later, other families like the Rothschilds and Barings formed their own banking dynasties, but the Medici are often cited as the first to create a banking dynasty.
Medici. But now it's like the Rothschilds and the Khazars.
And provided secure storage for valuables, which allowed them to establish a rudimentary banking system. This system, in turn, facilitated trade and enabled the transfer of funds across Europe and the Middle East. So, they were the predecessors to the Dutch East India Company. The Templars were arguably the first transnational corporation. The Knights Templar amassed an immense fortune in a relatively short period, the mainstream story being that they attracted both admiration and envy. As their wealth grew, they became the first true international banking institution, issuing
Tell me you knew that. Tell me you knew that. Tell me you knew that the Knights Templar was the first transnational corporation. I'll wait. It's insane, bro.
promissory notes that would lay the foundation for modern banking practices, including the origins of the dollar bill, which explains more why we see the symbols that we do today on our money. The Templars acquired vast tracts of land and castles, solidifying their influence and power across Europe and the Middle East. So wait, they started from protecting pilgrims on the roads from Saracen thieves, and now they own their entire fleet of ships, a banking system that processes shipments around the world, including to Muslim territories, and then became treasure hunters seeking some type of ancient artifact known as the Ark of the Covenant? How does that all add up? There's no doubt that they were funded and supported by royalty. They owned much of the land in Europe and were the advisors to the European monarchs. This gave them much political power behind the scenes. That's why the reasons for the motive for prosecuting the knights are still unclear. Many secret societies and modern-day orders claim ancestry to the Templars, and it is fact that the original Templar order, founded in 1119, was created with the assistance of the Muslim Saracens, or the Knights of Saladin, a fact that challenges conventional understandings of their origin. While the subject of the Templars often evokes passionate responses, due in part by many secrets and shady dealings associated with the order that would bring many things to question, so it's important to take a step back and examine the fact.
American Discourse News. I'm gonna check that out. The history of money. Yeah, I want to know.
We've been discussing the amount of influence that alchemy has had on medieval Europe, and we know that they share a similar Abrahamic bloodline and tradition. That will be shown soon. Although, it is true that some confessions from the Templars were allegedly extracted under torture, this does not discount the numerous other pieces of evidence and scholarly research that shed light on the Order's activities. So, the story is, from the humble beginnings of the Templars, as poor monks represented by the iconic image of two knights sharing a single horse, but this does not fully represent the tremendous wealth and power that they would eventually amass. Their initial purpose to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land evolved into a quest for the bloodline of Jesus and securing of Jerusalem. The support of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, a prominent religious figure, further legitimized their cause and catapulted the order to prominence. One of the most remarkable and unbelievable stories from the annals of the Templars involves a battle where a mere 500 Knight Templars are said to have taken on Saladin's army of 20,000. That seems pretty unlikely, but the story is that they were on the side of God. During the Crusades, the Knights Templar played a pivotal role as a military order, actively participating in numerous battles and campaigns. While their stated mission was to protect Christian pilgrims and secure the Holy Land, their actions often resulted in severe consequences for the local population. The Crusades were marked by widespread bloodshed, with countless atrocities committed by all sides, including the Templars. In many instances, they engaged in ruthless acts of violence, such as mass killings and pillaging, against both Muslims and fellow Christians alike. Rumors and speculation about the Templars' true motives and alliances were widespread during this period. Some accounts suggested that they were covertly working with the Saracens, collaborating with their supposed adversaries to achieve their own ends. Theories about motivations behind such alliances varied, with some pointing to a mutual interest in securing valuable treasures or access to the sacred sites of the Holy Land. Another possibility is that the Templars, in their association with the Saracens, had gained access to secret ancient knowledge, including the mystical art of alchemy. This would have provided them with a powerful advantage, as alchemy promised not only the ability to turn base metals into gold, but also access to the secrets of immortality and spiritual enlightenment.
And how to create a Humonculus.
As we were discussing, the origin of the Templars cannot be discussed without the Saracens. Let's keep in mind that this secret order of supposed devout Christians were working together in secret with the Muslims, which is really against the mainstream story that we've been told. Furthermore, let's keep in mind that the founding of the Templars was in the 12th century. The Saracens were the Muslims experiencing their Enlightenment period during this exact same time. They were in control of all of Europe. This is undeniable, as is evident in our languages. Spanish has 4,000 Arabic words, English 2,000, and French 500. The Islamic world...
Wait a second.
This is undeniable, as is evident in our languages. Spanish has 4,000 Arabic words, English 2,000, and French 500.
I heard somewhere that the English language actually has around 200 Arabic words a part of it.
I found some sources discussing the number of Arabic loanwords in English, but they don't give a precise count. It's generally understood that English has several hundred words borrowed from Arabic, especially in fields like science, mathematics, and everyday vocabulary, but the exact number varies depending on how you count. If you're interested in a deep dive, you might enjoy...
I heard something about the French language has like 500 Arabic words.
From what I found, estimates for English vary, and there's not a solid consensus on an exact number of Arabic loanwords. Some sources discuss conflicting views. For French, studies indicate that more than 500 and possibly over 600 Arabic-derived words exist. So while the exact count for English isn't clear, the figure for French does hover around that 5.
Okay, so it's safe to say that the Arabic language influenced a high portion of the other languages on planet Earth.
Yes, that's a fair statement. Arabic has contributed words to many languages, especially those that had historical trade, scientific, or cultural exchanges with Arabic-speaking regions. We've talked about English and French borrowing hundreds of Arabic-derived words, and other languages like Spanish, Portuguese, and even some Asian languages have similar influences. It's all part of how languages evolve through contact and exchange.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. I didn't know that. That's cool, bro. Like it all derives from Arabic, bro. That's pretty insane. Did you know that? You could just put a poop emoji in the chat if you didn't know that either, because I didn't know that. I watched this video already before too, and it's kind of insane that I didn't hear that the first time.
The Islamic world undeniably had a profound impact on European medieval culture, discussed earlier with the Picatrix and other alchemical texts. But of course, we're told the entire story of the Crusades, the divide and conquer tactic so frequently used throughout the historical record, yet there's always a fingerprint. The fingerprint is the secret wisdom of the secret societies. Therefore, we can easily conclude that this was the exact time of Liber Vaccae. Actually, one of the first citations we have of the Book of...
Look how weird it is. Look how weird this art is, bro. You notice how like every single person, which mind you, if I were just to point out, besides the individual on that's in the center, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. But they're all holding like this Humonculus jar, which has got the sulfur and semen and blood or whatever is the concoction they have up inside of there with the hermetically sealed, bruh. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty insane. It's pretty crazy artwork, isn't it?
Time of Liber Vaccae. Actually, one of the first citations we have of the Book of Cow, or Liber Vaccae, is cited in a Latin work by William of Auvergne in the early 13th century. William of Auvergne was the Bishop of Paris. He was not directly a member, but he would have direct connections to the order in his capacity as a bishop. We covered this in the Christmas video.
I don't know. If I'm just looking at this picture. Before Mind Unveiled even talks about what he's going to talk about next. First, I want to point out how fucking weird is it? Even though this is supposedly like a goat, you know, it has the bull horns about begonia. You know what I mean? The artificial generation of bees using bull carcasses. How it's kind of weird to me that Baphomet is a bull, which potentially the people who worship Baphomet or Baal know about this secret occult practice of begonia. And then it's also crazy just to see the Knights Templar, which were basically Jesus's army in a sense, you know. It's weird that it's like almost as if like Baal or Baphomet, the bowl of begonia, is like bringing forth knowledge, and it's almost as if like the Knights Templar is accepting the knowledge from Baphomet. That's just my interpretation of this image. It just seems crazy to me to have the Knights Templar, which were supposedly Christian warriors, mingling or receiving information from Baal, which here is like it's not a pentagram, it's actually a star. And if you actually do research onto the power of that symbol, that the pentagram and the inverted star and the upright star, and depending on how you draw the star, all has magical significance in the symbol of the star.
Baphomet is connected to Mahomet, which is an old French word referring to Muhammad. But most people don't believe that the Templars were actually secretly worshipping Baphomet, because the whole story is Philip IV of France began his campaign against the Templars. Why did he do this? Well, they say it's because Philip saw a rich target. So, in the story, we know that the Templars are obviously very rich, enough to get the attention of the king. So let's just say it's true. Where did they get all those riches? Were they obsessed with the bloodline of Jesus? Were they known to be assassins? Also, what's the need for collecting special relics? Furthermore, as we've stated, there is no definitive evidence for either side on whether the accusations brought against the Templars were true or not. So therefore, we can move on from that aspect, but it is crucial to note that they were questioned individually and the charges brought forth were very specific. You could say they were similar to the witch charges, and we can discuss that as well because there's definitely a connection. But forgetting the accusations, we still have every right to be suspicious of what they were up to based on the mainstream story alone. But there's external evidence outside of the Templars' persecution that we can explore. The first is, as I mentioned, simply knowing the history of brotherhoods and how Freemasons themselves claim they originate from the Templars. This is common knowledge, although scholars do consider it to be speculative for some reason. There are some scholars throughout history who have investigated this matter and connected the Templars to even older traditions that are based on the worship of generative powers. Thomas Wright's book goes in.
Generative powers? I don't know why, bro, but generative powers, that phrase in itself seems cryptic. The worship of generative powers.
On the subject on these ancient sex cults and how even after the introduction of Christianity, these secret cults still survived and were even encouraged by the medieval clergy. Let's take a look at what kind of art they were into, and we can come back to the trials in a moment, but I'm sure you guys know all about that if you've gotten this far. But the key thing to note is that they were accused of worshipping a demonic idol. Regardless if it's true or not, let us investigate the matter. So there was actually a whole book on this subject in 1818 by Joseph von Hammer-Purgstall. He was an Austrian Orientalist, historian, and is considered to be one of the most accomplished Orientalists of his time. He wrote a book that translates into Mysterium Baphomet Revealed, or The Brothers of the Military Order of the Temple, convicted of Gnostic apostasy, idolatry, and impurity through their own monuments, by Joseph de Hammer, Vienna. And in this work, instead of relying on the testimonies as evidences, he actually just examines a number of the Templars' artifacts.
Scruffmeister, it's all about duality. You know what I'm saying? Baphomet even has the as above, so below. I don't think necessarily, to be honest, I think all of this information is a tool. A knife isn't evil. Can a knife kill somebody? Yeah. Can a knife create something? Yeah. If a knife is misused, can it hurt the person using it? Yeah. That's what I think is so impactful about a lot of this information is it's a tool. It's knowledge, it's information. Regardless of whether certain aspects of all of this do bring you to the energy that you feel like it resonates as evil, it's just a tool. It's just like magic. Is there such thing as good magic? Like, really subjectively ask yourself, is there good magic and is there bad magic? Or is magic just magic and the person that's wielding the tool gets to decide what they use it for? So I think it really just comes down to like your soul, your spirit, your purpose. Like, why are you here? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense, or am I just off base, bro?
Many of which are no longer accessible for viewing. There are some that we're going to take a look at, but this book is special because it has a record of their artifacts and is a reputable source on history. Now, this book currently still has not been officially translated into English, but using new tools, we have access to many old texts translated into English so that we could take a look at the importance of what is being revealed. We have tested it and it's around 90-95% accuracy rate. There's only a few issues where it has difficulty with words that are unique or in different languages, which does happen time to time in this text, but I'll show the Latin as well. Essentially, I wrote a program for converting old books using the newest and most impressive language models via the API. It isn't perfect, but you can check out the Latin text if you want to and double check it and add corrections. This is a big game changer for allowing us to do research and to look at history from a new lens.
You know what I was just thinking of, bro? I was just thinking, bro. Does Mind Unveiled have a similar tool, bro? Did he create his own similar tool just like Web, bro? Where you can just upload specific data sets and he happens to put in lots of occult and esoteric books. And then similar to Web, bro, you can like create your own little web. You can ask questions based off of the information that's available to you inside of the web. Like, how many times is Trump in the Epstein files? Instead of having Epstein files, well, he might have those as well because he has a whole entire Epstein series. But based off of it makes me feel when he says that he has this same similar, or he created a similar tool that allows him to look through all of the information and pull information which is applicable to maybe specific keywords that he is looking for when he's doing his research, like all the artwork, all the books, all the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? You know how cool it would be, bro, if we could fucking somehow link up Mind Unveiled with Kevin as a human and with Ian, and they could put all of this information into Web, bro. Or they can somehow collab or something, you know what I'm saying? Because if they both built a platform and Web is more, he's more, I guess, Web's more like political stuff, I guess you could say, right? If I'm saying it kind of in a sense, they do have like the spiritual text, but imagine having, dude, dead ass. Imagine they have the Tyler Robinson court documents, the COVID-19 Tulsi Gabbard drop, the Jeffrey Epstein drop, the UFOs files drop, bro. They've got the FBI vault cold case information, bro. But imagine, bro, having fucking all of the occult information that Mind Unveiled has in Web, bro, or vice versa. Do you know what I'm saying? Like some sort of integration of data sets. It would be insane, bro, to be able to look all of this stuff up using Web, bro, about Libra Vaccae, about Paracelsus, or Dr. John Dee, which is like the fucking spiritual freaking assistant to Queen Elizabeth, who was supposedly talking to a deity inside of a glass orb and shit. You know what I mean?
Now have access to any historical document in English. You'd be surprised how many important alchemical and historical texts have not been translated into English. In this curious document, written in Latin, it's a part of a larger book entitled Fund Gruben des Orients, usually translated Treasures of the Orient. The preface...
Honestly, I have the ability to upload data into Web. I would just have to ask Mind Unveiled, like, hey, can you email me some the data or whatever to specific stuff, and then I could personally just upload my own stuff. Obviously, nobody that had access to Web would have access to my specific data. That's how like Web is specifically different from majority of these AI things that do this similar stuff, is that if I were to upload it into my Web, only I would have it. You know how Ian Carroll has like his super web where he has like the animation of the globe and it has every single place where Jeffrey Epstein flew on a plane. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Ian's fucking got it to where his web is like super web, bro. Similar is if I was the one that had the data set and uploaded it into Web, only I would have that. Whereas if it would be super cool and beneficial to every person on the planet to be able to do their own research into this stuff, is to have it actually like a data set, like Webb has. Webb has the Epstein data set. They have the Tyler Robinson data set, the pharmaceutical litigation data set. I'm actually pretty positive. I'll just drop this for you guys. Okay, guys, this is not a paid advertisement. Shout out Kevin is a human. Shout out Ian Carroll. Bro, you can use Webb today, dude. I'm pretty sure I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure for $5 for your first month, you can use Webb yourself. You can come in here and look at the Epstein files. You can come and look at all the spiritual texts, the 9/11 files, Tyler Robinson's fucking transcript. It's only $5 for your first month, bro. And then I think it, like, the lowest tier is like 10 or 7 or something like that. I just dropped the link in all of the chats. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. All right, guys. That's pretty much it. I gotta do some things to get done today, because I didn't know that I was going to be doing a stream in the afternoon, and then potentially later afternoon, even into the evening, because there's a content creator that I watch. He did a part 1 talking about the Bible. I'm pretty sure if my information is correct, I think he said something about part 2 coming out soon. So if you see me later today, that's what I'll be watching. Okay, guys? Okay, but wait real quick. Before we go, they're not sold out yet, bro. They're not sold out yet, bro. These custom tie-dyes, bro. These custom tie-dyes, there's only going to be a limited amount. Tripoverdrip.shop. I just dropped the link in the chat and all platforms. There's only 2 left of these bears. Like I said, I'm going to hand tie-dye them myself. I'm going to press them myself. They will be signed by me and Queen Trip. There's only 2 bears left. There is, I think, 3 or 4 of these purple and pink Tripoverdrip ones. We also just dropped a sick ass little Tripoverdrip little Stanley Cup 20-ounce mug. You know what I mean? We drink coffee around here. You know what I'm saying? I haven't even got my own yet, but as soon as I have my own, you will see it. That's the coffee cup I will drink from. But yeah, there's only a couple left. Like I said, I'm only making 10 total tie-dyes, 5 of each design. There's 2 left for the bear. There's 3 or 4 left for the purple one. They're going to go. I had 4 of them. 4 of them were bought out yesterday. Tripoverdrip.shop. If you guys see me later today, you already know what time it is. We're going to deep dive back up into Bible part 2. I love you guys. I'll see you later today.